kids, what's up? This is Shweta Roy, your English master teacher at Vedantu, and I welcome you all, my lovely kids, to this amazing session. And in today's session, we are going to discuss the important topics that can come for your exam on the poem The Heart of the Tree. So we have already discussed the entire poem in the previous in our previous session, and I hope you enjoyed our session on this beautiful poem and this very relevant poem in today's context. So come, let us discuss about the most important topics from this poem that can come as your as your topics, as your questions in the exam. So let us see. So guys, if you haven't yet downloaded the Vedantu app, then just don't wait for someone. Go and download the Vedantu app, because we are going to teach there, right? And you are going to solve your doubts. Everything will be solved in the Vedantu app, and you have access to free live classes from class 1 to class 12. So what are you waiting for? Study from the safety of your home, and you don't have any risk. You don't have to travel anywhere. Just keep studying, keep learning with the help of Vedantu. And yes, you can check out this link in order to know more about this app. So I hope you will all be enrolled, and I wish to see you all in our sessions, in our upcoming sessions in Vedantu. Moving on to the important questions from this poem. So I hope you have already enjoyed the beauty of the poem and had got some message out of it, and of course applied the message in your daily life, because that is the only aim of reading poetry and literature, that it is connected with your life and you actually try to apply all these messages, all the points that the poet or the author tries to bring out in your own life. That is how it will be useful, it will be significant for your life as well. So let's see what is the first question. Why does the poet call the tree a friend of sun and sky? So in the poem, the poet calls the tree as a friend of sun and sky. So he is kind of attributing human values, as I already told you, that the tree is personified, and it is called a friend of the sun and the sky. Why? First of all, because it is beneficial. It has a large heart, embracing everyone, and it is a friend. How? Because it gives us whatever your friend does for you, all the good things. Similarly, the tree also does those things. So it acts as a friend because it creates cool breeze. So if you have trees in your neighborhood, in your neighboring areas, you will not feel hot. You will feel the cool breeze when air blows. It reduces the temperature and lessens the heat of the sun and the glare of the sky. That is how it acts as a friend of the sun as well as the sky. So I hope that is a point, important enough and potent enough to make you move towards tree plantation. So next question is, what is the shaft of beauty towering high? So yes, in the poem, the tree is compared with a shaft of beauty, because the small sapling which is planted, first of all, you don't plant a huge tree at once, right? You first plant a small sapling which beautifully grows into a tree, right? In this manner. So that stands stately in beauty. So it towers high, that means it grows tall. And what is the shaft of beauty? So the tree is referred to as the shaft of beauty, which stands stately in beauty. From a small sapling grows into a tall tree. So that is the towering high, shaft of beauty, towering high. For whom is the home of heaven and I? So in the poem you have already read that the tree, it provides habitation to the animal world, to the birds, to human world, right? So in the tree that rises towards the sky, so the tree from a small sapling, it grows up to, huge tree with thick trunk, leafy branches, right? So in those trees, what do the birds do? Where will the birds build their nest? They build their nests in those lovely, huge, potent, powerful, strong trees. So they provide them protection, right? And these towering trees going up as if seeming to touch the heaven, right? So it seems very close to heaven. So that is why it is said, home to heaven and I, right? So the high branches seems almost heaven touching or sky touching, and they provide shelter to the beautiful birds who sing beautiful song and soothes our tiring brain, right? So that is the treble of heaven's harmony, which is being asked in the next question. What is the treble of heaven's harmony? The sound of the rustling leaves. First of all, when the wind is blowing, you will see that the leaves, when they face the wind, they make a sound and they make a beautiful rustling sound. Then the birds who have already sheltered, who have been sheltered in the tree, those branches of the tree, providing them protection and shelter. The birds, they croon, they sing song to the young ones. And if you listen to that song, you will see that it has nothing less than a beautiful, harmonious musical note, right? So that sonorous music that soothes you. And yes, this in the twilight mingle all together and it creates a beautiful music, beautiful symphony. And that creates the combination of musical note producing a divine effect, a heavenly effect. So that is the treble of heaven's harmony, the rustling of the leaves mingling with the crooning of the birds singing song to their young ones in the twilight, creating a beautiful, first of all, auditory image is created in these lines, and it creates a beautiful and divine music, right? So that music is heavenly music, very close to divinity. If you listen to that music, you will feel relaxed. You will feel as if you have, your brain nerves are being soothed. You feel a kind of calm. So that is the power of the music that is created just by a simple rustling of the leaves and simple singing of the song of the birds that has been sheltered in those beautiful branches, those potent branches, leafy branches of a tall, towering tree, shaft of beauty. Moving on to the next one is, explain the line and years that fade and flush again, right? So the never-ending cycle of life is being talked about. So fading away, dying away, withering away, and again rejuvenating in new life, right? So the never-ending cycle of the life has been talked about. Things bloom, they grow up, the sapling is planted, they bloom, blossom into beautiful tree flowering, and then again they fade away, they wither away, and again they are born once again, right? So that is the meaning of the lines, and years that fade and flush again. So years, that is talking about the never-ending cycle of life. The human beings, the animals, the plants, everyone has this never-ending cycle of life, of being, of dying away, withering away, and again getting born, again that rejuvenating itself, right? So that is the years, fading and flushing again. Then what is the forest's heritage? That is again very important. The new sapling which you will plant today, that will grow and that will become a big tall shaft of beauty, that is a big tree, and that can again be part of a forest, because forest is made of what? Those huge trees that make the forest, right? So that will be the part of a forest, and therefore the legacy of the forest is continued. So therefore, that is the forest heritage that is being talked about in the poem. Next is, how is the harvest of a coming, how is it a harvest of the coming age? So this is the plant that you are planting, the seeds that you are planting, you will, maybe you will wither away, right? Maybe the generation that is planting, it will enjoy the fruits and wither away. But what will happen is, even if that plant which you have planted dies or withers away, it will again give rise to new plants, because again it will spread its seeds on the ground. It will the flowers will help in pollination, and seeds will create new life, and thus the future will see the tree in all its glory as a towering tree with a thick trunk, and that can be put to various uses by future generation. So yes, so that future generation is actually enjoying the fruits of the seeds planted by the previous generation. And it also talks about the harvest of a coming age, also talks about the transition not only of the tree of nature, but also from tender adulthood, from tender youth to adulthood of human beings. So tree growing from sapling to a tree, that is the transition talked about when it is talking about the harvest of a coming age. And the youth growing into adulthood, that transition is also talked about, and how the future generation is going to enjoy the fruits of the trees which is the trees which are planted by the previous generation. Next is, who is being referred to as the unborn eyes? Very, very, very important question. When I was teaching you the poem, I told you that this unborn eyes, this part is very, very important. So please focus on this and try to look at it very carefully. Future generation who are still unborn. Unborn is the coming generation, which has not, we don't know about them, right? So they are not born as yet. They will be born in the future. And what will they find if we plant more and more trees? What will they find? They will find the pleasure in the sight of the trees that will have grown to a big height by that time, right? So if we don't plant any trees, maybe one day all the trees will get, they will get depleted, all the trees will go away, wither away, and there will be no tree left, no life left, no greenery left, right? So if we plant trees, that will be a definitely plus point or for the future generation, because they are going to have the pleasure of this beautiful sight. They can enjoy the nature, they can enjoy being amidst the nature just as we do. We love nature. We plan our travel trip, many a times in places with scenic beauty. So how is that scenic beauty created? With the help of trees, right? So if we don't plant a tree, the things that we are enjoying, maybe our children, they will not enjoy the same things, right? So in order to continue this legacy of, forest heritage, of beauty, scenic beauty associated with the trees, it's very important that you plant a tree, right? So thus, the future generation will definitely reap the fruits of your labor, right? So if you plant a tree, your children are going to enjoy just as we are enjoying, right? So yes, that is again a motivation to you in order to plant a tree. What motivates the man to plant a tree according to the poet? Because the man sees the tree as symbol of growth and future life. So if trees are not there, because trees are our oxygen, they provide us oxygen, and that is why we are going to survive. Because of the oxygen we are surviving. If there are no trees left for the future generation, they are not going to survive. So for future life, we need to preserve the greenery, we need to go green, right? So therefore, all these motivates a man to plant a tree. Next, How is the man holding the blessing on his neighborhood in his hand? The poet believes that the man who holds the sapling in his hand is actually holding the growth of humanity. So, as I told you, if you're holding a sapling, the sapling is not just a sapling. The entire humanity is in your hand, and it is the choice is yours whether to destroy the humanity by throwing away the sapling or not planting that, or whether to preserve the entire humanity and show your magnanimity by planting the seeds, right? So, because that sapling is going to create a new life, and that tree is going to give life to the entire humanity, right? We are surviving, again and again I'm repeating, we are surviving only because we have trees which take up the carbon dioxide that we exhale and give out the oxygen that we inhale. This is the most important factor that should, motivate you to plant a tree. The trunk is like a bridge, and the branches are linked to the cosmos. So the trunk is like a bridge from the older generation to the newer generation. So it is a kind of a connecting link. So when we will die, our future generation will enjoy the fruits of our labor because we have planted a seed, and the future generation is seeing the plants in full glory, in shaft of beauty towering high, right? So yes, that is a connecting link. The trunk may be seen as a connecting link, and the branches are a link to the cosmos because they are, towering high, going near the heaven, right? Therefore, these are the points which should motivate a person to definitely go and plant a sapling. He will bring transformation and aid in the growth and prosperity of life on earth. So yes, if we are planting a tree, we are transforming, we are bringing about a transformation, a positive transformation towards greenery, towards nature. And of course, therefore, bringing prosperity to earth. Next, what is meant by a nation's growth from sea to sea? Again, very, very, very important question. So the tree is the symbolic of the symbol, and the tree is symbolic actually, and it will lead to what? Lead to prosperity and peace in the nation. How will it lead to prosperity? Because the entire nation is going to bear the fruits of the trees, right? So whatever the tree is providing, wood, okay, leaves. The leaves are we eat many of the leaves, important herbs and all that we consume, right? So in that way, it gives food, provides food to the plants, to the living world, and thereby promoting nation's growth. Of course, maintains the climate, right? By lessening the air temperature, preventing global warming, therefore providing again to nation's growth, and providing various equipments for furniture, like wood is used for furniture, again economic growth. So all these social, economic, ecological benefit is being provided by the trees. Thereby the tree is it is the it brings growth of the nation, right? So that is the meaning of nation's growth from sea to sea. So peace and prosperity in the nation, it will be a transition to peace and growth. Next is, what is the reference to in the phrase stirs in his heart? Very important once more. Stirs in whose heart? Stirs in the person's heart who is going to plant a tree. So that means the person who is going to plant a tree, in his heart there will be awakening of different kinds of emotions. What is that emotion? The feelings. The feelings for hope, the feelings of holding the entire humanity in his hand, the feeling of positive transformation, the feeling of giving life the feeling of acting as a bridge to the other generation as well. So these are the feelings of a person who is going and planting a tree, right? So what social and ecological benefits of planting a tree? Very, very, very important. Covers the entire poem actually. Cool shade and tender rain. Okay. Then sows the seeds and buds for lush forest. When the seed you sow that become forest, that become a big tree, from tree again another tree will grow, again another tree will grow. So it will give rise to a lush forest, and that will be a benefit for the future generation. Sows the seeds of development of nation and the world. Yes, so therefore you are sowing a tree and you are sowing the seeds of not only that tree but the seeds of development for the nation and for the world. Very, very, very important question this is. And the next question is, in what sense is the tree the harvest of a coming age? So again, the same thing is that the tree trunk put to various use, transition from tender youth to adulthood, tree growing from a sapling to a tree. So you can see that only the main theme is the benefits of the tree. So if you can prepare one question on the benefits of a tree or the usefulness of a tree that the poet has been talked about, basically you can answer all the questions that can come in your exam. So that is the trick which you should follow. You try to prepare one answer on the where you analyze the entire poem line to line. Each line where you find the important phrases like sea to sea, then shaft of beauty, where you explain all these lines and you write a complete analysis, then you don't need to actually prepare small questions. So your long question will be engulfing all your questions, and thereby your workload will be definitely reduced. So your first point is understanding the poem word to word, line to line, and the depth of the poem as well. If you understand that, the next step is to write a question which is embracing all the answer. That is one long question based on the analysis of the poem, where you will analyze the entire poem line to line. If you do that, everything, even the shorter ones, will come under the umbrella. You have to just prepare an umbrella answer. That's it. Okay. So these are just the sample questions that I'm giving you with. Again, thereby explaining the poem all over. You need to prepare, what you need to do is combine these small questions and just prepare an umbrella answer where all your questions will fit in. And then you don't need to worry when your exams come. You have already understood the poem line to line and you know where to write what. So basically from that umbrella answer, pick out the chunk of the answer that refers to the question being asked in your paper. And then your job is done. Just mold your answer according to the question and that's it. I hope this tip will be helpful, and please kindly follow this tip, because if you try to prepare at least 15 to 20 answers in each chapter, that is going to make your head spin like anything. So instead of preparing 20 answers in one chapter, try to prepare just 20 answers for 20 chapters. That will be a much lessening of the workload and quite interesting as well, because you are going to understand the poem very well and you are going to prepare an umbrella answer of your own, which you are not going to forget at all. Try follow this trick and I am sure it will be beneficial for you. So next is how a tree planter how does a tree planter do civic good? Again, it makes the atmosphere fresh and pollution free, right? Peace and comfort, not only to all and to all and sundry, and it makes the atmosphere more congenial for all people, right? And the last one is, who holds all the growth in our hand. Which land has the poet in mind? He means that all the earth. So who holds all the growth of our land? So all the growth of the entire earth is in the hands of that person when the person is holding a seed and he's going to plant a tree. So entire mankind, entire humanity, the growth of entire humanity is actually dependent on us. If we become the man or the woman or the girl or the boy planting a tree, actually we are planting the growth for the entire humanity. So we are doing good for the entire humanity. So that is the importance of the man who plants a tree. And the man who plants a tree has a similar importance to the tree that he's going to plant. Let us see how. And another question is, in what way is the poem is relevant to our times? First of all, it highlights the importance of tree plantation, which is a much needed thing in today's world. Important part of our ecological and important part of our ecological and economic growth and environmental well-being. In our times, what is happening is, in our greed, we are cutting down all the trees for furniture, for building our houses, roads and bridges, because the population is increasing. In order to make room for the increase in population, what are we doing? We are destroying the forests, right? So that in order to, continue the heritage of the forest or the legacy of the forest, we need to plant trees. So the poet talks about the advantages of planting trees. And he says that one who plants trees, he plants many things: beauty, peace, shade, harmony, and good values. So that is how the poem is relevant to our times. One more doubt which you asked in your, some of you wrote in the comment section of the previous session, that do we need to answer in a paragraph or in the points? So I am just giving you these points as guidelines. I am telling you again and again, these are just your guidelines. You need to write your answer just the way you do in a paragraph. No need to write in points. These are the points for your benefit, because you are going to frame these points into well-framed, well-formed answer. These are not complete answer. These are just point or guidelines to help you frame your own answer. Because you're not going to copy-paste this one. You're going to frame your own answer, unique answer, standing out from the rest. Adding your own points as well. Okay, so these are just for your help, for your guide. Not to, just depend on this. No. Next is the significance of the title, The Heart of the Tree. Very, very, very important. So again, if you do the significance of the title or just one question wherein you are also talking about the title, then you are preparing for all of your answers all at once. Okay. So the usefulness of trees. So first of all, you need to talk about how the title is significant. When we read the title, The Heart of the Tree, we can see that the tree, it's talking about the heart of the tree, thus thereby arousing our curiosity. How can a tree possess a heart? Which makes us go deeper into the lines of the poem. And then we understand, when we read the poem, then we try to analyze the poem, we see that the heart of a tree is, talking about the tree having a large heart, kind of embracing everyone without discriminating. So yes, it talks about the usefulness of the trees, tries to prove the greatness of man who plant a tree. And the ending justifies the title again, a nation's growth. Of course, you can quote some of the lines and justify, right, your answer. A nation's growth from sea to sea stirs in his heart who plants a tree, which means a nation's growth is dependent upon, the heart of a person who is planting a tree. So a person who is planting a tree, his heart is compared to the heart of the tree, right? So the last line shows that a man's heart, his feelings, his wishes behind the planting of the tree. So just as a tree has a large heart, embracing all, benefiting all, and showing unconditional love to all, the man who is also planting a tree, he is also similarly showing unconditional love for all, because he is planting not only a tree, in a tree he is planting so many other things. So point of similarity is there between that man who is planting a tree and the tree that he is planting. A tree gives many useful things and helps us in many ways to make the earth habitable. And it showers the love and it showers its love to the earth unconditionally. And the man who is planting a tree also does the same. He also, has a large heart like the tree that he is going to plant. So that is why the title is just and it is apt for the poem. So I hope you enjoyed this session and the session was helpful for you. And now you are going to frame just one answer wherein you will incorporate all the points together, just one umbrella answer, and your work is done. Please go ahead and do that, right? So that 90% of your preparation is done for this chapter. So yes, if you have liked this, there is one task for you from my end, which I would like to, post, which I would like you to post in the comment section. How far are you inspired by the poem? Are you inspired to go for tree plantation? So how far has the poem inspired you for tree plantation? Would you plant a tree? Why or why not? So if you are inspired to plant a tree, why would you do that? What has made you, inspired to plant a tree? And if you will still not plant a tree, why won't you do that? Right? So please post your answers. I would love to read all your answers. And yes, please shower your love unconditionally, just like a tree. And don't forget to hit the like button and share with your friends so that they can also enjoy the benefits of, planting trees, and they can also go ahead and, be that person who will ensure the growth of the entire humanity. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you soon in our next session. Thank you. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.